There's one there. Maybe. This one? Yeah. I don't know whose it is. Just the Sidor.
Is this somebody's personal one?
No. Oh, it's Paul's. Okay. Thank you. I'm out of the practice. Seriously, I'm out of practice.
I know that we both forgot to get presents.
Oh yeah, I know, it's lovely, isn't it? Priorities, right?
Oh, you want it? Is Ishmael 90 something?
Yeah.
92?
Yes. Barakui is 92.
Ah, so the Shema would be just a bit after that.
Yes.
Ah, 95, great. Ah, perfect. Oh yeah, a very good.
It's made especially.
Ah. There's been a lot of baking I can smell. Ooh.
There's a lot of challah being baked in here.
Fantastic. Oh, no.
Okay, I think we're ready.
Great.
I think tonight I should go to Shalom. No, you install. Let's just start with Shalom now before I work them or anything.
Just go straight in?
When they're... Are we ready? Yeah? So Shabbat Shalom, everyone who's here. Grab a seat and settle. And our festival explorers, although today you're Shabbat explorers really, are going to bring your parents up to light the candles after we have welcomed each other with Shalom Aleichem and Natasha playing on the guitar, as I promised you. So Shabbat Shalom to all of you at home. Welcome to Shabbat. I can't think of a week in really a long time that coming together tonight felt so important. I'm going to suggest we go straight in to Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Poachem Shalom Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Nila Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu,
השרת מלאכי עליון היא מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Thanks so much, Natasha. So I'm going to invite Festival Explorers, Shabbat Explorers, along with your parents, to come ready to light our Shabbat candles. Those of us here, we'll stand in the sanctuary. Those of you at home, this is your moment to get your candles. So let's stand and come to the candles, and I think mums and dads will get ready. But I'm just going to read something for us. Tonight is a very poignant day. It is the first Shabbat since the world changed for us, and all that concern that we have for those in Ukraine, our own individual stories that I'll share more in the service about the Jewish community in Ukraine, many of which the progressive Jewish community that we know well. 3 rabbis that I spoke about this week, colleagues of mine who I studied with at Leo Beck College. One this afternoon, I was told Julia is walking to the border to Poland, as there were no vehicles. She's walking to the border to Poland, and this is a detail that we will all remember forever. She is walking with her daughter, who's 18, and her 2 cats that they did not want to leave behind, and they are walking to the border of Poland, and will decide what they do when they get to Warsaw, whether they're able to come to London. And really, she is a microcosm of so many in the Ukraine right now. Tonight, I hope, will be an oasis from the news, but will allow us to offer prayers as well. So just before we light the candles, and I ask you all to come forward, these are the words of Elie Wiesel, survivor of the Holocaust, who knew injustice well and dedicated his life to speak out against it. True, we are often too weak to stop injustices, but at least we can protest against them. True, we are too poor to eliminate hunger, but in feeding one person, we protest against it. True, we're too timid and powerless to take on all the guards of all the political prisons in the world, but in offering solidarity to one prisoner, we denounce all tormentors. True, we are powerless against death, but as long as we help one man, one woman, one child to live 1 hour longer in safety and dignity, we affirm a human's right to live. So parents, kids, you want to come, light the candles together, and Natasha's going to take us straight into Maya Fe Hayom after the candles, which you're going to recognize because you've been singing it all day. So Natasha will do it as soon as we've lit the candles. I realize it's a great choice. Who's going to do it? Alice, you start lighting. Yeah? I'm volunteering you, and then you can all say the blessing together. Say the blessing together, and Charlie and Anthony, you are helping too, just by being there. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Sit down.
Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Maya Fe Hayom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Yedid Nefesh, page 78. Our festival explorers have been with us, some since 4:30, baking challah, under the incredibly watchful gaze of Beverly and her friend Yvette, who's been helping today, on her birthday of all days. So we sang happy birthday to Beverly, and you are all here with your little pudding pots of chocolate raisins. Feel free to amble out whenever you want. Stay as long as you can. It's a delight to have you. On page 92.
La ברכו את אדוני
As we go into the blessings for the Shema, the first that notices the natural world around us, the passing of the seasons of light and darkness. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. Join me. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod, Shem Kavod, Malchuto Leolam, Leolam Vaed. And you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you shall be on your heart, and you shall teach them to all your children. And you shall talk of them when you're sitting in your house, when you're walking by the way, lying down and getting up. And you shall write them on the doors of your house and upon your gates, upon your gates. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai, Adonai Echad. Lama'an tiskaru, vasitem et kol mitzvotai, litem kadoshim le'Elokechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Let's read together in English and experience the poignancy tonight. All this we hold to be true and sure. You alone, Eternal One, are our God, and we are Israel, your people. You have freed us from oppressors and delivered us from tyrants. You led us out of Egypt forever to serve you in freedom. When we witnessed your power, we praised your name and gave thanks. Willingly we accepted your rule. Then, full of joy, we sang together. Pada Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. As we offer Hashkivenu tonight, if I tell you that for the last 3 days, last Friday night, Rabbi Julia Gris, the one that I described as walking to Poland, joined one of Liberal Judaism's Shabbat services, and as I was home with COVID, I was able to attend that, and it was extraordinary. She was talking about how she had built up her own community in Odessa, and when I trained with her at Leobeck College, she was still their rabbi, and she was going backwards and forwards, and since she became a rabbi, she has developed and nurtured and built that community in Odessa. And I think, we talk about time taking on a different dimension from last Friday, from worrying, anticipating, and yet it didn't really feel real, to this week. And you can imagine that our rabbis chat, we're all part of WhatsApp groups, but the last 2 days, our WhatsApp group of rabbis of working, some of my colleagues working so hard to issue invitations through the embassy to those who are fleeing in the Jewish community, as well as the rabbis, to work out with the Jewish agency at several borders outside of Ukraine, safe passage to Israel. These kind of things that feel almost, they don't feel real until they're about real people. So just before Shabbat, I received, as we all did, a message from one of the shelters, from one of the rabbis there, who is there and is not leaving at the moment. And I think that the Hashkivenu prayer on page 96 that we're about to offer, that talks about spread over us a shelter of peace. Let us be safe. Let us be in peace. Shield us from sickness and war, from famine and distress. And most weeks here we read that prayer thinking of the more existential concerns that we have, and tonight it really takes on something else as we offer that prayer.
Hashkivenu Vashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu L'chaim.
Baruch atah Adonai hapores sukat shalom aleinu v'al kol yoshvei tevel. Stand when you're ready as we go into the tefillah.
Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sveitai Tivtav. Na 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 Ufiagi. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sveitai Tivtav. Na 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 Ufiagin. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sveitai Tivtav. Na 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 Ufiagin. Ufiagin Tehilatecha. Na 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 Adonai. Na 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 Sveitai Tivtav. Na 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 Ufiagin. Ufiagin Tehilatecha.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei v'Nehem, L'Ma'an Shemo B'Yahava, Melech Ozer Moshiach Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Vezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim, Atah Rav L'Hoshia, Mashiv HaRuach u'Morid HaGeshem, Mazriach HaShemesh u'Morid HaTam, Machalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechaye Metim B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofer Cholim, U'Matir Asurim, U'Makayem Emunato Lishnei Afar. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה המתים. You are holy, awesome is your name, we have no God but you. We praise you, eternal one, the holy God. Page 99 for the Shalom.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורת עבורית עולם. בני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורת עבורית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורת עבורית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו
Baruch Atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat, from the middle of page 100. B'rtzei Adonai Eloheinu b'yamcha Yisrael, u'tefilatam b'ahavat tekabel, u'tehila ratzon tamid avodat Yisrael amecha. Baruch Atah Adonai, she'otecha levadecha, b'yera na'avod. Feel free to sit, as Paul reminded you. Thank you, Paul. Last night I watched something of rabbis in the States about how everyone learned how to do tech for our services for the last 2 years. And one of the rabbis says, we don't just need tech people, we need Torah people that know what happens in the services. So that was a perfect example, Paul. Thank you so much. Beautiful. So as always, I invite us all to think about what we can feel grateful, appreciative for in our lives. And as Marge Piercy says, just reach for something. Blessings, we always learn how to bless the salty, the sweet, the bitter, and just be glad for what doesn't hurt. So just think about what it is in your life you can feel grateful, appreciative for. You leave everything else, all the anxiety and worry behind, and just focus on these words. Modim anachnu lach, she'ata hu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. Tzur chayenu magen yishenu, ata hu ledovato, nodeh lecha nsaper tehilatecha, al hayenu hamsurim biadecha, v'al nishmotenu hapkudot lach, v'al nisecha shebachol yom imanu, v'al niflotecha v'tovotecha, shebachol eit erev v'voker v'tzoharayim. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lecha na'eh lohodot.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tesim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tesim le'olam. Ki ata hu melech adon, l'chol ha'shalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, l'chol ha'shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tesim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tesim le'olam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amcha Yisrael, b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tesim le'olam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Tesim le'olam. Tesim le'olam. Tesim le'olam.
Baruch atah Adonai, Oseh HaShalom. We praise you, O God, the source of peace. I really want to share with you a prayer that my colleague Rabbi Eli Tikva Sarah wrote this morning for this Shabbat, and for us all in different liberal congregations to be sharing it and to feel that sense of solidarity amongst us, and to allow us a moment of thoughtfulness just as we go into silent prayer wherever we need to be. Eternal One, rock of our existence, the source and sustainer of life. As President Putin wages war on Ukraine and the forces of autocracy wreak havoc and attempt to instill terror and fear in every heart, we call on you to strengthen the people of Ukraine in their collective will to muster the courage and the fortitude to withstand the onslaught. May they be strengthened by the knowledge that democratic nations across the world stand in solidarity with them, as does so many in Russia as they have protested what is happening. And these nations will do everything necessary to support their efforts to resist the imposition of tyranny. Meanwhile, as ordinary people everywhere, like ourselves, witness the horror and feel helpless and hopeless, In the face of these overwhelming events beyond our control, we ask you to enable us to understand that we are not powerless to help, that our deeds, however small, matter, and that above all, knowing that despair is the dearest friend of tyrants, we have the obligation to hope and to demonstrate our constant fidelity to the enduring values of peace and freedom, equality and justice. May this be our will, and let us say, Amen.
Say shalom, shalom, b'romav, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, va'imru amen. Say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom, b'romav, say shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, amen.
So let's turn to Aleinu 520, the prayer where we look towards a future that will be in better shape than the one that we have now, where we acknowledge our part that we play in making the world a better place. Let's stand together for Aleinu and Kaddish.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, אשר זר מלכנו לייחד את שמו, וגור עלינו להמליך מלכותו, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגבהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום בהשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים
Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad, u'shamo echad. So we turn now to our list of those who are marking and remembering yahrzeits this Shabbat. We think particularly of Simon Black, husband of Raina Sheridan, of Daphne Colby, mother of Richard Colby, of Agnes Dolan, mother of David Dolan, of Matilda Lamb, mother of Vera Meyer and grandmother of Paul Silvermeyer, of Eva Mutkin, aunt of Maureen Lobato and Brian Solomons, of Leon Pilpel, father of Alison Pilpel, of Reginaldo Polacco, brother of Renzo Fantoni, of Joan Solomon, mother of Janet Solomon, and of Cynthia Anton, mother of Sarah Anton. Zichronam levracha, may their memories be for a blessing, and may those who remember, recall, and miss their loved ones be comforted as we say the words of the Kaddish with them. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shamei Rabbah, Bialma divrach yurtei v'amlich malchutei, v'hayechon v'yomechon, v'chayei dochol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav hizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam olmei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei kudusha b'richu. Leila min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechamata, da'amiram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shalama rabba min shamaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Say shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'al kol b'nei adam, v'imru amen. So let's sit down as I think Kiddush is being passed to you. Help yourself to challah. The wine is coming round. And this is such an opportunity that feels so right and necessary for us all. As Natasha offers the priestly blessing to us, that blessing to give us all the strength, all the resilience, all the sense of safety and security we can muster. We think, of course, particularly tonight, of all in the Ukraine, not just in the Jewish community, not just the 3 rabbis that I've spoken of. Tonight during the service, I just got word that Rabbi Tanya Sakanovochik has managed to flee Kiev with her son and has sent a message to the rabbis, which feels almost ridiculous that we are in this situation. So we offer prayers of blessing and safety to those there and to all of us here tonight.
Simcha Elohim Ephra Yu'imcha Menaseh Yesimech Elohim Kasara Rivka Rachel Leah Yevarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha V'ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha Yisar Adonai panav elecha V'yasem lecha shalom V'yarecha Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Thank you so much for coming tonight. I think for us to be together has meant a great deal to each one of us. So now let's stand for Kiddush as we offer our blessing over the wine. And that is a dog, not a baby, in the pram, who's often our honoured guest on a Friday night. I kind of miss the opportunity to tell the children to gaze at him on their way out. So let's go into Kiddush together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon himchilanu zikaron l'maseh v'reishit ki hu yom tehillah lamikraye kodesh zeh l'tziat mitzrayim ki banu va'arta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava u'ratzon himchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Wishing you well for this Shabbat. Wishing those of you marking a yahrzeit long life. Shabbat Shalom to all of you at home.